This is me and my motorcycle. And this is Thomas and his motorcycle. We have decided to go on a road trip this spring. His Yamaha Tenere is in excellent condition. My old Cagiva, not so much. I have a long list of things I need to do. Can I manage to get it fixed in time to the trip?
For this next stupid job, I'll actually start outdoors. It's not that the job is stupid or somewhat, but the one who has caused me to have to do this job was stupid, or at least stupid in the moment of doing it, because, yeah, totally unnecessary. Don't be stupid, don't do jobs like this. I'll explain you pretty soon, but it has to do with the tank, so I need to empty the tank for gas, not spill anything on my garage floor. I'll do it here outdoors. The tank on this bike is quite big, 19 liters or 5 US gallons. At least that's the capacity if it works as it should, something I suspect it might not do. I don't have much gas in it now though. It should fit into this 5 liters can. I'm using this flexible, transparent PVC plastic hose to drain the tank. It's very convenient. It's not made to be used as a fuel hose though. I bought a 6mm fuel hose compatible to be used with the ethanol mixed fuel. The most common petrol we use here in Norway is a 95 octane E10. I think perhaps I'll stick with 98 octane, which has much less ethanol for my old bike. It's not that I've never been stupid or done a mistake or something, but as stupid as this, I don't think, at least not on purpose, because the mistake that's done here is either because of total ignorance. If you deliberately do a wrong thing, you know it and you still do it, that just doesn't make sense. But so I guess the one doing this repair thought, yeah, this was a smart way of doing it, but it totally ruined the setup here when it comes to the fuel lines from the tank down to the carburettors. So my Cagiva has also a fuel output on the other side, and this, I think it should be possible to close it with this, but it's stuck, so yeah. I'll try just to quickly to put on this hose. Yeah, try to not spill too much on this side. Okay, no petrol is escaping yet. Ah, taste of gas, nothing like it. But this is definitely closed. Let's see if I can open it with a plier. This is not a tap you're supposed to open and close often. That's the one on the other side. This is just to be used for long-time storage or if you want to do repairs. But it does not seem to open at all. It's almost impossible to take this hose off again. I can see some fuel leaking. I think I'll just have to take off the tap to drain the tank on this side. I think I can just hold my can here and use this funnel. Oh. This was not ideal. Definitely a big mess. Okay, I can see some rust here and some debris from the tank, so it's probably not perfect condition. Last thing, take off the tank. never done it before, but I don't think it's that difficult. More or less one bolt here. I have loosened it. And then a couple of bolts on the fairing. And if this tank is like on my other bikes, it's just to lift it off. And it's normally attached to some rubber stuff. Let's see if it's the same here. That's it. I guess it's time for me to explain to you this stupid solution I found. Let me pull up my virtual blackboard, because I think it's best if I show you a sketch of a regular motorcycle fuel tank and explain some of the principles of the problem. This is how it looks typically on an old motorcycle. You have the tunnel here at the center where the frame of the motorcycle goes, and then the tank, when you fill it up with gas, looks like that. You can open up the fuel tap, or the petcock also called, and the fuel will flow down and gradually sink until you meet the minimum level, and then you can switch over to reserve, which actually is no reserve tank. It's just the lower part of the fuel inside the tank is set up to a separate position on the tap, and then you can drain the rest of the fuel down to the carburetors. I've drawn up 2 carburetors here now because that is what is on my bike. It can be 4, it can be just 1. Anyway, yeah, this is, I guess, this is what you expect to see from maybe a small and old motorcycle. What you can see here, this part over there will never be used because of the tunnel and the way the tank is shaped. This small amount of fuel there will not reach the output. That is why on a bit bigger motorcycles and on my tank, it have an extra fuel tap on this side as well, which just moves the fuel over to the other side. And you can see here on my tank, it's quite a high tunnel. So it's almost half of the tank is on one side, or half of the volume of the fuel is on one side, and the other half on the other side. Yeah, so then it makes sense. So if we fill up the tank now, here, and this is the exact setup on my Cagiva, how it should have been. So if you fill up here, you drain it to the reserve, and by the way, of course, more modern motorcycles, they don't have this solution. You have a gauge, you have some meters on the dashboard where you can see if you are full, half, quarter, if you're low on fuel. On these old motorcycles, you don't necessarily have any gauge. You just have to open up this cap and take a peek inside. Oh, it's starting to get empty, yeah. But you get this warning. So when the fuel meets the reserve level, then you switch the tap around and you can drain the rest. And here you can see, you can get the tank completely drained. All 19 liters, 5 gallon US gallons, can be used before it's empty. But here comes the stupid solution. If you are the one who did this, shame on you. I know it's not you. You would never do this, because this is the hack that was done on my motorcycle. And the problem is, let me see here. This is the fuel tap that was on the motorcycle. But it should have been like this. So I have bought a new one that is correct. It has one input and one output. So then the line from the other side of the tank was just connected with this T-shaped connector into the carburetors. And as you can see, this defeats the whole purpose of being able to close and open the fuel tank, because you have direct output on one side, so it doesn't really matter, does it, if you open or close the fuel tank? Well, does it really matter? Because the carburetors, they have built-in fuel taps to them, so to say. They have some floaters and a valve that close and stops the fuel from entering the carbs when they are full. But that is a security issue. If something goes bad here in the carburetor area and the lines are open, so it's just constantly by gravity the fuel is pressing down for winter storage or overnight, the fuel will then start to leak into the engine or out of the overflow valves, and yeah, all the gasoline will be spread around your motorcycle or into the motorcycle engine. That has happened to me once. So it's really important to be able to close off the fuel lines on the tank. There is a second problem. This other fuel output on the other side looked like this, and here is actually blocked off with a seal. Regardless of this valve being open or closed, this is permanently shut down. This is how my bike has been set up, and that means this line have never worked. This has always been shut down. When I have drained the tank down to this level here where the tunnel goes, yeah, this part of the tank are not usable. And you can see, so this is 19 liters, and yeah, I would guess 2 liters, maybe more, will never be used the way it's set up here. So it's more or less two problems here. This workaround down here with this redirecting the line is totally stupid, possibly dangerous. It's not possible to turn off the gas. Then the second fix is just to block this, which defeats the purpose of everything. Okay, enough ranting from me. I will try to fix this now. Shouldn't be too hard. So these are the fuel lines that I will be replacing. These two went down to each carburetor, and these two up to each side of the tank, not the OEM design. I will be replacing these. That was an easy repair. Luckily I had an O-ring that was a perfect fit. Let me test it now. Yes. And then close it. Just turning this knob up. Yeah, seems to work. That was quite an easy fix. I have found it online as well, so if this doesn't work, I can just replace it. But of course, repairing instead of replacing is much better. So then I'll just put on this repaired transfer petcock and this new proper petcock and measure out new fuel lines, and then should be ready to go. And since I can't just copy the fuel lines that was on here, I need to make my own. I'll just do it on, well, the tank is on the bike. Then the crossover line, the transfer line, is made. That goes from one side to the other. And the main hose for the fuel, this goes to each carburetor and this goes up to the fuel tap. Yeah, that had to happen. These tiny small fuel filters are quite brittle. I've ordered new ones. For now, I'll make a temporary fix. Put it on reserve, and I can see the gas is filling up on the air filter. Still no leaks. Let me open up on the other side. Seems to work. Yet another job is done, and if I remember correctly, actually 2 jobs are done. I have my task list here. Tank petcock, I knew that was the wrong type, so that is now changed. And fuel lines inspection, replacement, yeah, all of those are replaced. And also the first item here, service inspection to check for unknown problems. I would say that is done as well, because this is the first time I've ever taken off the tank on this motorcycle. So now I was able to inspect this area, and most of what I could find was okay, except for some hoses started to crack, so I will order new ones. And yeah, also these small tiny fuel filters, I managed to break a tap there on both of them. That was, yeah, they get a bit brittle when they get old, so I ordered a bunch of new ones. We'll add that to the list as well, but that's just a tiny small task. The next job will be to start on the front wheel, front brakes, remove rust, improve that part of the bike. But first I think I'll take a test ride, fill up with fresh gas on the tank, check that everything is working. Hope to see you back in the next episode. Bye bye.